I'm super pumped to share it with you. So we're calling this our mid-year drop, and I think a lot of you are going to be blown away by what we're about to show you. But what I want to do is I want to start by just going back in time a little bit to share, where we've been and just how far we've come. What most of you don't realize is that this company was an idea in December of 2024 when Ian and I were like first chatting about what's possible. So everything that you're seeing, all the technology that you're touching has been built in the last 18 months. And it's been built by a very small, very smart team. And that technology that you're using every day has picked up tremendous momentum. Since December, we BrokerBot has processed 30 billion LLM tokens. Now, if you don't know what a token is, that's okay. It's basically a word. But if you think about it like this, we're processing almost 2 billion tokens a week at this point. Actually, a little more than 2 billion tokens a week. So it's amazing. Like we'll have a busy day where we process like a 500 million words inside of BrokerBot. And to me, that's the signal that we're really starting to do some important and exciting work on your behalves. We are, matter of fact, the fastest growing AI platform in real estate. We now have almost 33,000 users in the platform, and just growing like crazy. And we really appreciate all of you doing that because it leads to things like this. So a few weeks ago, I was at the Realtors Legislative Meetings Conference in DC at the National Association of Realtors mid-year meetings, and they presented our team with the 2026 Innovator of the Year award. Out of the tens of thousands of companies building technology in this industry, they picked us. And I thought that was pretty darn cool. And it's a testimonial to what this team has built, and what you all as customers have helped us build, because you all are the ones that are like guiding us to build these things for you. And so now, Ian and the engineering team have just been on fire. And I know that you all see the pace at which we innovate and what we're doing. And so, in the first half of this year, we've shipped over 1 million lines of code. We shipped a ton of voice upgrades for BrokerBot itself, and we have even more coming. In February, we announced our first big CRM integration with Keller Williams Command Platform. We totally rebuilt the widget. We totally rebuilt the way that knowledge-based search works. Little spoiler alert, we've added email to BrokerBot, which I'll show you more about in a minute. We launched the Canva integration. We're working really hard on Teams and Google Chat, but we enhanced the Slack integration a lot. And then we launched the group SMS product where you can group text with BrokerBot. And then just in the last month, we released the YouTube sync stuff. And so that's just some of what we've already released. And it's amazing. I think it's funny. Like I've been around the industry a long time. You would see that. And if a company released that in a year or 2 years, you'd be like, this is amazing. This company actually like ships software and moves really fast. But that's just a drop in the bucket from what I'm going to show you today and what we're going to push live into your platforms today. Um, One of the things that we take really seriously, and actually the reason I went to DC, I was asked to speak to the National Association of Realtors Data Governance Committee. I think most brokerages and really most individual agents underappreciate the amount of risk that can be created by using AI freely, especially by using consumer grade AI products. And so we've partnered with our attorneys and several of the state regulators to put out a template AI policy. So if you scan the QR code or you go to brokerbot.ai/AI policy, if you're a brokerage, a team leader, an association leader, this is free. It's yours to use. Like standard legal disclaimer, we are not attorneys. You need to customize this. It is your license, not ours, but it'll help you get going in the right direction. And the key here is that you can't have your agents, or if you are an agent, you can't be loading your state's intellectual property, which is your transaction forms and your customers personally identifying information into Chat GPT, Claude, et cetera, unless you're on the enterprise models. And our team has done the hard work for you to ensure that we have zero data retention and the information you put into BrokerBot is never used to train the models. So download that, use it, make use of it. We'll keep updating it. But some of you, and I'm curious, go in the chat if you're in our Slack. We started a Slack community earlier this year as a way to actually like connect with some people. So I see Reagan, I see Jason, I see Michael. So for those of you that are not in there, scan the QR code and that will take you to join our Slack. Slack is where we first announce a lot of our new features. So some of the people today, like Tia and others, that have had an opportunity to help us pilot Follow Up Boss and some of the other cool stuff that we're going to announce, they've been using it for a month or two. So if you get in Slack, there's no cost. That just gets you a little closer to the team so that you can chat direct with us, and help us, shape the product and give us a tight feedback loop. So scan that QR code. At the same time, if you're in BrokerBot, and I'll just flip over to the product here for a second. If you go to the bottom left, you can click the little join our Slack button right there too, and that'll take you through it. So that's Slack. That's how you get connected with us. But this is the part that you all came here for. Is like, what's all the new stuff that you guys have been working on? And yeah, you can join later from your phone. That's amazing. Thanks, Jamie, for dropping that in there. This is everything we're releasing right now. And when I say right now, we actually did it last night and we did a lot of testing. So everything I'm about to show you is already live inside of your BrokerBot account. And then there's a few things that will get rolled out over the coming days. But the biggest change that you're going to see is there's now a new toggle inside of all your accounts where you can switch from chat to computer. How many of you, I'm curious, use Perplexity Computer or Claude Cowork or any of these things so Shar does, a few of you do, right? So we have built our own version of this, where when you flip that toggle on, you are actually spinning up your own computer in the cloud so that you can have access to that 24/7. And that unlocks some really amazing functionality for you. Number one, the container based or the command line based agents are a lot more capable than the standard serverless agent that you get in chat. So you can still use chat, use that for like basic questions, quick finding things. But anytime you need to do a long running task or anything like that, you're going to want to flip into computer, and it's going to be able to do some amazing things. Okay. And when you flip to computer, you'll get the cool little animation, which that was an Easter egg that Ian came up with for you. So the thing about computer to understand is it is fully rebuilt from the ground up. It's 10 times faster than the old BrokerBot. It's 98% fewer stalled chats, and there's dozens of reliability fixes across every single channel. But the thing that really is going to blow your mind is how different the interaction with it is. And so, what we're calling BrokerBot Browse is our new version of the web browser. That web browser unlocks pretty amazing functionality. So at Proven Home, we built a web sleuth workflow. Works just like Forewarn. You punch a phone number in and it goes to work. And it does a background check lookup. And in this case, it's figuring out this phone number is attached to an actual licensed individual. And then we're able to go click, browse, fill forms, and pull up that person's licensing information, pull it back, do a background check, and put it in a CRM. But because BrokerBot has the ability to work in the background, you work via text message, you can even run that on like an entire open house sign-in sheet. So it's really slick. What we see a lot of times at Proven is that they want to know exactly who they're talking to. So they'll take the open house sign-in sheet, they'll text a picture of it, and they'll have BrokerBot run through and do these backgrounds and then push them all into Follow Up Boss, Commissions Inc., et cetera, for them. So this is just an example of what you can build because now we can actually fill out forms, like extract text, click buttons, do that. So yeah, Helen, just like been verified, forewarned, et cetera. Now, the key to this is if you're a broker, every month you probably need to go to the State Department of Real Estate and verify your agent licenses. You can now create a workflow that can go browse the web, fill the forms, and do that for you. So BrokerBot and our web browsing tools are going to get more and more powerful, and we will start to be able to log into more and more of your tools as we do that. But not only can we browse the web now, for the first time, we're introducing memory. And this has been one of our most requested features. Yes, Sharon, it will put them right in command for you. Um, The problem with memory is when in Chat GPT you use memory, it's opaque and chat can pick what it wants to remember and what it can't. And in our world where we're operating in a highly regulated industry, yes, there'll be a recording that you can share, Eric, where we're operating in a highly regulated industry. We can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford to remember the wrong thing. And so the way that we built memory is that the team built it so that it has a full index of every conversation. And so the experience is, as you're having different chats around like a transaction or a property, and you can call back into BrokerBot, text in, or use on the web. And if you're in computer, you can just say, hey, what was the conversation we had earlier this week about XYZ property? And it'll be able to go back through your chats, find that thing and surface it to you. But what's really cool is when you start to build like transaction coordination um, workflows inside of BrokerBot, and you have this experience where like you get a text reminder, which another spoiler, those are here and live today, about something you have to do in your transaction. What's going to happen is you can just respond back to it and say like, oh, that's already done. And now BrokerBot will have the ability to know those things about your transaction. So memories in there, you'll see it search through chats. It's really impressive and cool to be able to finally surface this feature that we've been working on for a long time. This is another one that I'm really excited about. And what you know is if you've used BrokerBot in the past, you can use it on the web. You can use it in SMS, so you can text with it. You use it in voice over the phone. We have a chat widget, and then we have Slack integration with your team. And what we've added now is email. And so inside of your BrokerBot platform, if you go to settings and you go to email, you're now going to see an email address. You can copy that. I would encourage you to save it to your contacts, because what happens is you can just send an email to BrokerBot. So now imagine that I get something that says like, hey, I need to schedule a meeting for next Tuesday at 3 o'clock, whatever. I'm just going to forward that email right to BrokerBot. BrokerBot's already connected to my Google Calendar and say, hey, BrokerBot, book this. BrokerBot's going to book it on my calendar and email you back and say like, done, I took care of it for you. It's an amazing piece of technology. We are finishing up a little bit of work so that we can process PDFs via email. But I think by early next week, end of this week, you'll even be able to email a PDF to BrokerBot and say, hey, can you do this with my contract, do that with my contract, et cetera. And it'll be able to do that for you. So really powerful tool to be able to use email as a channel for your team. Okay. Now, if your admin on your team hasn't enabled email, you're going to need to nudge them to turn it on for your team. Okay. Next thing up here is what we call autopilot. These are scheduled tasks. Now, scheduled tasks can work in three ways. So, number one is it can watch things. Number two is it can schedule things. And then number three is it can run like long horizon planning for you. So, let me give you some examples. This is how we see agents using it. Just the other day, I had an agent that was going on showings, and she went to BrokerBot. She said, hey, I'm about to go for the next 3 hours and do showings, but I'm expecting an offer on my property at, I don't remember the address. BrokerBot, can you just keep an eye on my email? And when that offer comes in, will you read the contract and send me a text message summarizing the terms of that and let me know that the offer came in? And now I will just tell you, I didn't actually think that it would work. And when it worked, it blew my mind. And so what BrokerBot did is it creates a scheduled task. And when you log in and you log into BrokerBot the next time, you're going to see that you will have a task scheduler that's in here that allows you to keep track of all your scheduled tasks. And so we can just watch your email every few minutes. And when something comes in, it'll text it to you. We had another leader that said, hey, I want BrokerBot to watch a YouTube channel. And every time this person posts a new YouTube video, I want it to watch the video, summarize it, and email that video to me. So now these fully autonomous, like watch tasks, manage tasks, it can do that. Second way that you can use these is you can say every day at this time, do that. One of the ones that we use, and you'll see Max built this out, and it's really slick, is our weekly seller reporting. So what that weekly seller reporting does is we start a workflow, we give it the property address, and then we set it up so that every Friday, and I think we do it at like 2 o'clock, it goes to realtor.com, homes.com, Zillow, and it pulls all the property views. And then it finds the most recent properties that have come on the market or sold in the last week. And it writes a seller update, puts it in the agent's email, and sends them a text and says, "Hey, your weekly seller report's ready for you to review. Please log in your email and check it." So it's taking the thing like for 15 years. I've had executive assistants that when I was a listing agent, I would say like every Friday we have to do an update for our sellers. And it was just always inconsistent. Um, and it never happened. And now it can happen automatically and every time. And so Eliza, you can create custom workflows right in BrokerBot. You can create them for anything you want, seller reporting, et cetera. Max has a great library of these that we can share with you. But I want to give you the third one, which to me is the most interesting for agent onboarding for brokerages. And that's the ability to manage long running tasks over time. So we have a brokerage right now that we're finishing up onboarding. And what they did is they took their entire 180-day onboarding plan and turned it into a workflow. And so when they onboard a new agent, the experience is totally changed. What they do is they sit down with the agent, they get the agent logged into BrokerBot, they verify their phone, and then they click a button. And that one button click cascades their entire onboarding workflow into scheduled tasks for BrokerBot to be able to follow up and nudge and text and email the agent and like carry them through the entire onboarding experience, which as a broker owner, that was the most painful thing that I went through hiring agents every month. Um, and it's really unbelievable what's possible. This is live. You can do this today. I'm excited to see what you all build with it. Now, what's interesting for us is we watch what people ask for and what they do, and then we build functionality behind it. So a lot of you have already started to use these workflows. Workflows are there live. If you are an account owner, you can create custom workflows and you can share those with the agents in your brokerage. You can share them with your leadership team, and you get full scoping visibility on who these workflows are assigned to. What blew our mind on these? We launched workflows 7 weeks ago. Last week, you all consumed 300 million tokens just from workflow usage. This is the fastest growing feature that we've ever shipped inside of our product. And we know that you're just going to keep building more and more of these. So if you haven't already been in workflows, you want to make sure that you get in there and you start building these, because this is how you're going to create value for your agents. And if you're a team leader, this is how you can create consistency in the playbooks that you run for your team. Um, so make sure that you get in, you check out workflows, and you go super deep on those. Yeah, Ash, I would agree with you. Workflows are super awesome. Um, how many of you have used escalations? Anybody? So yeah, Jason has 19 workflows. Yeah. So Jim's used escalations. Ted has used escalations. This is really cool. So inside of BrokerBot, you have the ability now, and we've been testing it. We have a handful of brokerages using it. We've now lit it up for everybody. You can go in here and create escalation groups and email and even create tickets in Zendesk. And so what that means is as your agents are using BrokerBot, or you could even put this on your homepage on your website in the chat widget, at any time they can ask for a human, and it's going to fire a text and an email off to the leadership team so that you all are instantly notified that somebody needs help. Now, from there, you can do one of two things. You can call the agent directly, but you're also going to get a link to their actual chat. And so when you combine that with training, that you can go back into the chat, give the answer straight in BrokerBot and save it as a training so that the next time BrokerBot has the answer to that thing. It's a really powerful tool that we're able to make the handoff. So we start AI first, but we always have a way to fall over to the human when the human is needed. And so that's a tool that is now live for every owner and admin inside of BrokerBot. This is a huge one, and I want to make sure you all understand this. When you think about the way that APIs are built for CRMs, Our first CRM we integrated was KW Command. Now, I love watching people use it, and we've had some users spend like $10,000 in LLM tokens using Command. The way these APIs are built are for a one-to-one event sync, meaning something happens in Command, you send an API call, and you update something else. The minute that you put an AI agent on the back of that CRM and that agent starts making hundreds to thousands of calls, it just blows up the way the API works and it doesn't work properly. It's not what they were designed for. So what we have done is we've built what we call BrokerBot CRM. It is an opaque, private CRM layer that exists for every single agent. And so what we're doing today is when you connect your follow-up boss, we're making a standard deterministic API call to get all that into your local BrokerBot CRM so that then you can use the AI agent on top of the tool that we built that is actually built to work with AI and update things in batch, in bulk, et cetera. And then we run a background job to keep your follow-up boss, et cetera, in sync. So today, this is live in Follow Up Boss. It's been turned on for all your accounts. If you want to go connect that, you can get that synced up. You can sign into Follow Up Boss. You'll choose the local sync option. That'll sync it right in. And it is wildly powerful what you can do with Follow Up Boss. As of today, we are live with Follow Up Boss, Keller Williams Command, Rechat, and Close for all users. You can go connect those. We have other CRMs that are on the roadmap. We see tens of thousands of calls. We actually got a call from Keller Williams corporate saying like, hey, it seems like people are really using this thing. We're like, yeah, we noticed people are really using the thing. This is a really powerful tool to use. Um, and so you will find a lot of value as you dig into this CRM stuff. I'm going to keep us rolling. So in the knowledge base, we've made a bunch of upgrades to the way that the knowledge base works. What we found is the average brokerage has thousands of documents, and those documents are just mostly unstructured chaos. And our team has done a tremendous amount of work to create structure out of those things. And the biggest thing that we've added is the ability to ingest videos. And so what I want to show you is what we're calling BrokerBot Vision. So inside of your knowledge base, you're going to be able to go put in a playlist, a single video, or a channel URL. We will pull down all those videos into your knowledge base. And as you add new ones, we will sync them. From there, we actually watch the video like a human and transcribe it. And as far as I've seen, we are the only ones that do this. And we make it all accessible to BrokerBot, the AI agent, so that weeks to months later, when your agents need that training moment, we can find it in the video and we can surface it to them, but we index it to the exact second in the video where you're talking about the thing that they're looking for. So it's your training library on instant recall across all your video assets. And this is fully live now. Um, so when you log into your BrokerBot account, if you go to uploads, you'll see that you can add video and you can add an individual URL, or you can add a YouTube channel, or you can just upload videos directly here. Okay. So that's live. That is in all of your accounts today. And yeah, John, I love that you're saying it's working. It is a super slick tool. When I was running a brokerage, I wish that I had this because we recorded our team meeting every week and we would do all these broker tips. And then 2 weeks after the meeting, the agents would call and they would say, hey, what was that thing about that new car form? Blah, blah, blah. How do we do that? And if we had this, we could just take them straight to the video, right to the part when the broker talked about it. We're here now. We're living in the future. Um, this is probably the one that y'all will get the most excited about. And if you remember back to December, that was the first time that we put image models inside of BrokerBot. And like within 2 weeks, you all like it went from there were no images being generated into BrokerBot to like that was the number one thing people did in BrokerBot. But the problem that we have consistently is just AI drift. And this is not a BrokerBot problem. This is an AI problem. And I think the part that a lot of you don't fully appreciate is when you give a logo to AI and you say, hey, I need you to put this logo on that thing. The AI is writing its own description of the logo and then trying to recreate it. And some percentage of the time it gets it right. And most of the time it gets it really wrong. And it's a super frustrating user experience. And the way that you fix that is by using like actual deterministic software tools like Canva or Maxa to put files on top of files and you actually like composite it on there. For the first time, what we're doing is we are blending these two things together so that we can take AI generations and then seamlessly hand off in composite images. And so I want to show you kind of the demo of what this looks like. So you all have seen this where we can do virtual staging. We're the only platform that can do virtual staging and follow your local MLS and brokerage rules when we do it. We're excellent at this now. Now, we have a team from an EV franchise in New York that pushed us to be able to do this, which is 6, 7 images at the same time. So we can now do that as well inside a computer. I think you can do up to 7 or 10 images at once. What we're working on now that is live in computer is the ability to actually build a flyer. And in this demo, what you're seeing is we're going to pull a Canva brand template down and we're going to render it. But the key is we're getting the photos from the broker's own website and we're creating it live in a flyer and using their logos. This has been one of our most requested things. Funny enough, this is like one of the hardest freaking problems. And I see Ian nodding that we had to put our lead data science engineer on solving this for like multiple weeks. Um, and what I was going to come on and tell you all this morning is like, it mostly works. Um, Now watch this. This is the part that is very interesting. Uh, I went in here and this was from May and I said, give me a flyer. And it gave me a flyer and generally like, this was pretty good, but this was as good as it was going to do. And it didn't use my logo and it got kind of weird. So then this morning, I was like, well, I would just wonder how much better this actually is. And I said, can you change it to a coastal property? And it swapped it out and it gave me like this coastal property. And I was like, okay, well, this is a little better than the last one, but it's not great. And I said, lose that logo and use the white one from our knowledge base. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, hang on. It actually got my logo. It didn't make up my logo. It didn't re-render my logo. It took my logo and it stuck it on the flyer. And I was like, well, that was kind of cool. Uh, can you put my headshot on it? And then it actually put my headshot and my logo on the flyer from a text prompt. And I said, well, wait, this is really interesting. So now can you use the actual photos and the list and like listing info from this listing? And so it goes out to the web and it looks and it pulls down all the listing info and gets it live, but it got the wrong photo, but it has all the details. So I said, well, you use the right photo. And I gave it the link to the photo. And so now I've got my listing with my photo, with my logo, with the right info. And I'm like, this is winning. But then I thought, like, I think this could be better. And my prompt was like, just do a high design flyer where the property photo is the entire page, use some fade and like zhuzh it up a little bit. Uh, and I got here. And like this was unthinkable um 6 months ago. And Tia, I love that you said rag. This is not rag. We are actually like compositing images on top of files. Like rag breaks. It doesn't work. This is our own intellectual property that we have built that is our software code that is totally unique that you can only do in BrokerBot. There is no other AI platform that you can do this in today. And this is how you see the differentiation where we are building a product that is built for the residential real estate industry to be able to do the stuff you want to do. So what you see here is me trying to say, like, I wonder how good this is. And I started with a pretty bad design from a few months ago, and with 4 prompts, got it to here without having to upload anything other than my headshot. So I was pretty excited about that. I think that's the most interesting one. Jason, I love that you asked that because one of the things that we added to BrokerBot that is not even in my Prezzo is the ability to like create a logos folder with all your logos in it. And now BrokerBot can reference that folder. And so if you say like use the white logo from the logos folder, you'll see it actually make a tool call into the logo folder and then find the white one. So it's really slick. It's a huge upgrade to the way that this works. We're going to keep iterating on this. I was candidly, I was pretty surprised that I was able to get to this as easily as I was. So, like, I'm not making promises that it's going to work this awesome for everybody. This is our goal state, but it worked really great for me this morning. And so, please, like, beat on this, give us lots of feedback on it. But we're really, really proud of this. And it was a tremendous amount of work. The next thing I want to go into are some widget upgrades that we've made. Now, I don't know how many of you saw Jeff Glover announced Glover UAI, but that is, you lost your logo on the last iteration. No, I just was on the wrong image. Sorry. It's there. Um, Jeff announced Glover UAI, and you may or may not know this, but we power Glover UAI under the hood. And part of that experience that we built is that you could do a full page, like embedded chat widget line. So it's no longer just the little like thing at the corner that pops up. You can actually do a full page embed like this. But the other thing we did is we added the ability to have authentication sit on the front end of this. And so what that does is for your agents or people that are part of your team that use this, it's going to send them a one-time passcode and they can log in. Now we've added a bunch of functionality. Thank you to Heather and our friends at Baird and Warner for pushing us on this, that you can now upload images to the chat widget and do virtual staging like right in the widget, and we can send those back and forth. Um, and the authentication and all that stuff has gotten really good as we've moved into more and more support here. But if you're paying attention, it's capturing the info from everybody that it talks to. And because if I go back a few slides, BrokerBot's on every channel, that means consumers can not just use it on the web in the widget, they could email it, they could SMS with it, they could call it on the phone. And for the first time, what we've started to do is actually capture leads for you. So today, if you have your own workspace as a brokerage, you're going to see a new little widget in here called leads. And what this is giving you is all of the leads for people that are unauthenticated in your platform. So now, if you put BrokerBot on your agent website or on your brokerage website, or you put the phone number out into the world, it has the ability to do lead capture and pull those in for you. And as we iterate further on this, we'll be able to add these to CRM, like ask qualifying questions and all the things that you guys are going to ask about. Um, but I think the thing that you have to understand is we originally built a platform for real estate brokers to be able to communicate and add value for their agents. That platform's come a long way. And one of the most important things we get asked for from agents is, well, how can I create my own workflows? How can I have my own lead capture assistant? How can I have my team's branding inside of this? And today we don't really support that inside of the brokerage platform. And so the only option historically has been to subscribe and get a solo BrokerBot account, which costs $250 a month. And so what we did is we listened to your feedback. And so as of today, we've reduced the price for those solo BrokerBot accounts from $249 down to $99. And so if you already have a BrokerBot account through your brokerage, you can still use it, you can chat with it, and it'll be super helpful, and you can use the features we have here. If you want to create your own workflows, capture your own leads, build your own assistant with your own phone number, you can now do that for just $99 a month. You can sign up on the website. It's all there and it's easy to understand, which, by the way, we quietly launched an entirely new website overnight. So if you now go to BrokerBot's homepage, we look like a real company, and it actually talks about what our product does. And it's a website that we can be proud of. So every update that I've shared with you today is already live. It's already on BrokerBot. It's already in your platform. Um, and we're really excited to share all that with you. I'm going to pause for a minute. How are we doing? Yeah. So Judy asked a really good question. She said, "Where are these tools? Mine looks different." That likely means you have a member account from your brokerage. Um, so if you're using the member account in your brokerage, you're going to have somewhat limited functionality that your broker is going to have to build things for you. If you want to build on your own, you will need a solo account to do that. If you're inside of your brokerage has control over what you are doing at the brokerage level. Okay. So I'm really excited about everything that we've delivered today. And what I want to show you is some of what we're working on next. Um, and as I go into that, I'm going to screen share again. Some of this is stuff that we're going to give access to a group of you today on, and some of it is stuff that'll come later. And so let's talk about where we're going. Um, when you think about the role that artificial intelligence and something like BrokerBot can play in your world, um, what we want to do is make sure that we can keep your license safe, create trust, and be a valuable assistant that can actually do the work for you. And so I want to introduce for the first time what I call BrokerBot transactions. We have partnered with SkySlope. We've been working on this for about 3 months. And for the first time, we're going to release outside of our internal teams the ability to integrate with SkySlope with BrokerBot. Now, I want to be clear today, this is SkySlope Forms. And so for SkySlope Forms, if you all don't use that, that gives you the ability to write contracts, read contracts, upload them, and send them for signature. Now, I I've been one of the testers of this. So I've like kind of come through the evolution of how this works. But I had a really wild experience this morning when I was testing it, and I just want to share that with you. So I started my chat and I said, "Hey, are you connected to SkySlope?" And it said, "Yep, I'm connected." I was like, "Sweet. I need to write a new deal for Ian. He wants to buy this house." And so what you see BrokerBot do is it goes through my follow-up boss, and then it looks through my brokerage processes for how we write contracts. And then it says, "I found Ian in follow up, boss. Now let me grab his pipelines." Great. I've got him. I got all the listing details from the internet. It's all here. Let me create that deal in follow up, boss, for Ian. So it already created a deal in follow up, boss. And it says now he already has an existing deal. This is another test deal. So this is the second one. "Do you want me to create the SkySoap file?" And I say, "Yeah, please do. Pull them from FUB, grab the details, and use the buyer template. Just do a BBA, which is a buyer broker agreement." So you see it go back, grab the details from FUB, grab everything. It finds all our templates in SkySlope, pulls all his info from there, and then it starts filling out the template. So it grabs all 25 of the residential sale docs. Now, what's funny is I didn't have Ian's email in Follow Up Boss. So it digs through my Google contacts and ultimately finds him in Gmail and then reChat. And it says, "Got it, found him and his phone." And it starts filling out my SkySlope file, gets it all set up, applies the template and says, "Okay, here's what I've got. This is the price, terms, etc." But this is the part that blew my mind. Heads up, since this is your listing, the consent to limited representation or dual agency form applies. I already put it in your file. And this is the kind of like wild forward thinking anticipation that we want BrokerBot to have because it understands the compliance rules. And so Leanne asked, "What is SkySlope?" SkySlope is just like Lone Wolf or Transaction Desk, where it's a platform to write your contracts in. Okay. And so now I say, "Great job. What do you need for me to get the BBA ready to send?" And it kicks back to me like, "Here's the couple things that I need to get this all filled out for you." So for the first time, I'm able to like go from I think I gave it 4 prompts, and I had like an 80% complete contract. And what we're working on with SkySlope now is the ability to actually render those in a widget in chat. So you can see your forms right in the chat. You can read through them and then you can click send to send the envelope to your client right inside of the BrokerBot chat. I think over the next few months, we'll get that fully built out. And by the way, I know this is a little tiny byline, but we are working with Lone Wolf. We have a lot of Keller Williams clients. We know you all are migrating to Transact. We will have support for that later this year. So know that that's coming. We just started with SkySlope because they were a little further along on some of this stuff, and that's also what our brokerage uses is SkySlope. So it would give us an easy test bed for that. Um, and yeah, so Laura, we have 4 SkySlope forms today. We will do SkySlope, the brokerage compliance side, as a future follow-on, and then we will do transaction desk and the Lone Wolf stuff in another future round. I do want to give a disclaimer on some of this that Lone Wolf, transaction desk, et cetera, they do charge you their customer fees to use their APIs, and we do have to pass those through to you. We were able to negotiate a deal with SkySlope where we're able to cover the cost. So if you're a SkySlope customer, we got you. But if you're a Lone Wolf or transaction desk customer, there is going to be a pass through cost for those. So just know that. Um, so let's go to the next thing. This is probably our like top 2 or 3 most requested features, which is can you sync with Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox? Now, for some number of you, and we've rolled it out to about 30%, you're going to see this new thing called Cloud Sync here. And that's going to give you the ability to connect your Google Drive, your OneDrive, or your Dropbox. You can see there's an error here. We're still testing some of this stuff. So as we work through this, we will slowly release it to more and more people. What I want you to understand is today, this is a one-way sync, meaning we never touch the files in your Dropbox, Google Drive, et cetera. Um, so what will happen here is that we will do a one-way sync into BrokerBot with those files, and we will slowly turn this on for more and more people. So stay tuned for this. If you're an account owner, you'll see this coming. If you're an agent inside of a brokerage, this won't impact you because your brokerage leadership are doing it. But if you're an agent that wants to be able to do this on your own, this is something you'll be able to do in your solo plan. Um, and I saw the note on Colorado. uh, Colorado is its own universe. And one thing I want to be clear on with all of you is like, we take very seriously your licensing agreements with the people that promulgate your forms. And different states have different opinions on these things, but we have really gone out of our way because it's very easy to have AI just fill out forms. But we've gone out of our way to ensure that we are 100% compliant, that we are honoring your licensing agreements with these associations, and that we're not just like writing on their PDFs that we don't have a license to do. So we want to get all the states. The way that we're going to get all the states and get all the forms is through having a lot of customers that are consumers of those forms, pushing for them to integrate with us. So if you have influence at the state or local leadership level, and you want to help your association get their forms, their rules into BrokerBot, we would love those introductions. We have several of these that we're working with now that we're really excited about, and they're great partnerships. So the reality is we're just getting started. We today announced that, well, you already knew Command was live. So Follow Up Boss, Reach Out, and Close are all live. We are currently working on Commissions Inc., Lofty, and we're working with Bold Trail to get a contract put together. Beyond that, the way we prioritize these is based on the number of people that ask for them. So think of it like a really simple tracking sheet that, like Corey just said, Salesforce. And so we'll write Salesforce and we'll put one hash next to it. And when the second person asks, we'll put a second one. And the way we burn these down is the ones that are asked for the most float to the top. So if you are using some obscure CRM that we have never heard of, it might be a minute before we integrate with it. And so just know that it's just a simple prioritization exercise. But the next thing that we're going to start to do is take KW, the KW command, the reach out, the close, and move those into the BrokerBot private CRM sync world, which will give you a lot more functionality, and really a lot more resilience in the way that those API calls work. So look out for more with that. Um, and this is something that we've just started to do. And this is something we've been asked for a ton, and we call it BrokerBot Concierge. And so what Concierge is when you launch your brokerage in BrokerBot, somebody's got to go train it on all your stuff. And historically, Max has done a tremendous job with hundreds of you going through and training you on how to build your BrokerBot. But we heard the feedback enough times of like, I don't want to have to build it. I just want to pay you to build it. That we actually built our own suite of internal AI agents that can build out your broker bot for you. That means we can understand your company's policies, your guidelines, your training materials, the way you do business, to the point of where we actually just take you through about a 2-hour video interview, and during that interview, we uncover all of the things that you all need inside your brokerage. So you have training platforms, you have those other things, and we have you invite one of our team members to those platforms. And then we deploy an AI agent into the platform to go extract all the data for you. So hundreds to thousands of data points being extracted, built out. And at the end of it, we produce a full build out report and we hold your hand all the way through the 90-day implementation to hit our target and your target, which is to get your agents using the product every single week to grow their business. So if you're an existing customer, we're offering this at a discounted rate. Send us a note at sales@brokerbot.ai and we're happy to talk to you about that. If you want to just kind of like reboot your account and get it back going. For new customers, this is an add-on. Um, we couldn't be more excited about what we're working on. You all are the reason that we do all these things. You're pushing us with feedback. You're making us better. So please, like, keep giving us feedback. Keep engaging with the product. Keep sharing the product. The things that help us keep building faster is growth. So if you know a broker, if you know a team leader, if you know an agent, if you know an association executive that we can talk to that you think would benefit from our product and all the great new features that we've announced today, please, like, don't be stingy with those introductions because that growth is the fuel that fuels our company to go build amazing things like this. So that's the end of my slides. Um, I'm curious, what of everything that you saw, what's the thing that like got you the most excited? What's the thing that like you can't wait to go play with? CRM integrations for sure, image gen, workflows, reading contracts, the flyers, image model. Yeah. I called it. I thought the image model, but it looks like the CRM stuff, computer, SkySlope, like looks like it's all of it. Um, I don't know, Ian. I think you guys are building the right stuff. People seem pretty excited about it. I see a good question from Pat about widget for phones. We are we are actively hiring for mobile engineers so that we can deliver a native mobile app for iPhone and Android. That'll be coming later this year. Um, and Craig, I saw your comment about, and it's better that the APIs don't allow that because the security risks, and I agree with that. And that's, we've kind of taken a hard stance on this that we do business with the Keller Williams and the Fidelity National Financials of the world, and so we go through the front door and use their documented API and partner with their teams to make sure that we're compliant and secure. And that means we're not doing like web scraping of their APIs and things like that. That could possibly give a little bit more functionality, but kind of step outside the box. So um, what I've said from the beginning is I'm not going to build the platform that loses your license for you. And I want to make sure that we keep you on the right side of these things and be the enterprise compliant, like data governance first, secure, trusted platform. Um, Oh yeah, Michelle asked a great question about privacy. So on our website, there's a data processing addendum and a privacy policy. Every customer lives in their own container. Everything we send to the models, all of our models are strict zero data retention policy models. And look, y'all, a lot of times that means that there are like really good models that we can't use because they train on your data and they will extract your customer's PII, and that's a trade-off that we made because compliance matters more than performance. And if it's 5% more performant, but it's going to leak your customer's data into some training machine that somebody else can get in the future, we just won't use it. We don't retain your data. If you delete your account, it's gone. If you look in the AI policy, you'll see, there's a lot of stuff in there about the way that the foundation models govern your data. I want to quote Randy's quote right here. I genuinely believe this is the only product that 90% of our agents need. That's amazing. Um,
I was gonna
uh,
say, we're gonna put that on our website, Randy.
yeah, yeah, Randy. Can you email a headshot to marketing pro at That's actually not, don't email it there. Email it to support. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for your time. I really appreciate the 300 plus of you that cycled through this webinar. Really massive kudos to our team. Ian, Tarek, and Deep are the engineers that make the magic happen. Max and Nathan are the like support and enablement team. Jenny, Jamie are operations and making it all happen. And Justin is the one helping you all sign up and get going. So thank you very much to the team. Couldn't do it without you all. It takes a big team effort. There were some like 18-hour days to get to this launch over the last 2 weeks. So keep it coming. Please send us referrals because that's how we keep building. Appreciate everybody. We'll talk to you soon.